I recall back, I would say it was pre-puberty. I just I just felt like something wasn't right. I just didn't want to be around a lot of people, had a lot of nervousness, anxiety, and just really sad. Just I was sad, and I just really didn't have any reason to be sad. Had a pretty normal childhood, typical mother and father, married, no real stressors at home, and I just didn't understand what was wrong. I just couldn't fit in anywhere. I just wanted to be by myself. And I think I think after a while my parents had noticed that there was just something wrong, and I became more and more withdrawn, um, and sad, and just didn't do the typical things that a normal a adolescent would do, engage in going out with friends and doing the things that, one would want to do. I was just really sad, quiet to myself. Didn't want to come down for dinner. I don't recall crying, I just didn't understand what was wrong with me. And I think now looking back, I can say, well, maybe I was going through some hormonal stages during that time. And it just got worse. And my mom and I started to have some friction with each other. And I think it was related to her trying to figure out what was going on. I remember them calling counselors to come to the house back then. And I didn't want to talk to them. I didn't want to talk to anybody. That wasn't going to help me. I don't know what would have helped me at that point. I really believe that I needed some medicine to kind of help me through it. And then once the medicine started working, maybe I would talk to somebody. So I do believe in the, knowing what we know now, the chemicals that are not working properly in the brain. And sometimes you need to be treated in order to get to the stage where you can kind of go, okay, now let me look at this and see what's going on. But in that stage, I think also I was a little immature for my age, and that didn't help things. So I was just really confused. And of course, back in those days, they didn't have antidepressants and Prozac and any of that. And so they would just basically come and say, what's wrong with you? I don't really know, and snap out of it. And, you need to do this and you need to do that. Well, I don't need to do anything. And one of them is, I don't need to talk to you because I remember one of the counselors calling me on the phone and just saying, you are, just really lecturing me and telling me, what I had to do. And that just shut me down. I needed someone just go, hey, let's talk, do you feel like, what are you feeling inside? What are you scared of? Why do you sleep? Do you eat? Tell me what you feel about yourself. Are you insecure? Do you, just talk to me. Don't lecture me. Tell me what I have to do. Just find out about me, and maybe you'll understand what's going on with me. And so things kind of progressed. There were days I just really didn't want to be around, and I was too scared to do suicide, but it did cross my mind. And it was a very dark time in my life, and I made some decisions. I joined the Army. I went away against everybody's approval. I did kind of some behaviors that were things that my parents were not for. And I know now that those were survival for me because I needed something with structure, and I needed guidance, and I needed to find out who I was. And I went away for 3 years, met somebody, and then I had children, and seemed to kind of balance out those hormones a little bit, or some of those, chemicals. After I had my first son, I noticed that I dropped into a very serious dark depression. I stopped eating. I stopped sleeping. I didn't want to be around anybody. And that was when I first saw somebody and was treated. And I can say now, if I had known then that a medication would have helped, I wish it was there, because it would have, Today, I'm very careful of how I engage, what I take on, learning to say no. The depression is always there. It's managed, but it's always there. And there are triggers that I stay away from that will cause me to go into a major depression. So I'm very careful every day. I'm very aware. I haven't learned to incorporate things in my life, like I run, exercise every day, helps to just get the stress level off. I try not to get overly upset about things. I've learned how to do this through therapy, and I go to therapy, and I'm very careful of just situations and things. And it's a lifestyle. It really is. It's a lifestyle, but it's manageable with help, with medicine. It's one of those things that it takes not just one thing, it's a conglomeration of things, and just knowing yourself and what your limits are and what might trigger it, and what to stay away from and what to engage in, and type of people to be around, and not to engage in high-risk behaviors that might trigger that depression. Because even if it does happen, like I lost my father and I went down, but I know that I'm not going to go down and stay down. I'm going to be able to get myself back up, and I know where to go get the help. So I've learned, and people just don't understand, I think there needs to be more education and more, less stigma. Because I even still feel it today when I go pick up my medicines at the pharmacy. I just feel it. You can feel it, and people don't understand when you have depression. They don't understand it. It's very stigmatized, and I don't share it a lot. But I do feel that more people that talk about it may have it and not realize they have it, or can reach out to people that have it. And I'm a nurse. And I'm going to work with children. I'm in school to be a pediatric nurse practitioner. So I can identify it because I've had it. But when you have never been through it, it's very difficult to assess it. And some people can describe it really well if they've worked with people that have it. But until you've had it and have suffered with it, it's really almost impossible to describe to someone, because it's like a dark cloud coming over you and just doesn't go away. And people can say, okay, just let's do this, let's do that. It's just not like that. You just can't snap out of it. And it takes a lot of strength, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just like diabetes or any other medical condition. There's an imbalance. It's chemical. They know where it is. It's serotonin reuptake inhibitors and receptors that don't work. And someday hopefully we'll be able to have more support and more people treated. I think it's made me a stronger person. I think I've compensated for it, and I've excelled as a result of it, because it's been kind of a life challenge. And as a result, I've gone further than I ever thought I would having it. So, I just didn't have hope. And through help and support and just God's grace, I think that's how I made it through to where I am now. So don't give up, and suicide's not an answer, and there's always a way out. Even if it gets really, really bad, there's help. There's people that have been through it, and everybody has a different, way of coping, and some people are stronger than others, and so it's okay. It's okay to, not be able to do it the first time. Maybe it's just going to take a little bit more time and a little bit more therapy and a little bit more, but just, I would say, have hope, because, you know, that we're learning more and more about depression and how to treat it, and just hook yourself up with people that can help you, and don't give up, because, you know, we've got to battle this problem. It's mental health.